If you want to transform your life with wisdom that has stood the test of thousands of years, you're in exactly the right place. Before we dive into these 40 powerful proverbs that will change how you see the world, make sure to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. It helps more people discover this life-changing content, and I truly appreciate your support. Now, let's begin this incredible journey through timeless wisdom. Proverbs are more than just old sayings passed down through generations. They are concentrated drops of human experience, distilled into memorable phrases that carry profound truth. Throughout history, every culture has developed proverbs because they serve a crucial purpose. They help us navigate life's complexities with clarity and confidence. Today, we're going to explore 40 of the most powerful proverbs, understanding not just what they mean, but how to apply them in your daily life to achieve success, happiness, and fulfillment. These aren't abstract concepts or philosophical musings that have no practical application. These are battle-tested principles that have helped millions of people across centuries make better decisions, build stronger relationships, and create more meaningful lives. Let's start with one of the most famous proverbs of all time. A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. This ancient Chinese proverb, attributed to Lao Tzu, speaks to the heart of human ambition and fear. How many times have you looked at a goal and felt completely overwhelmed? Maybe you want to write a book, start a business, learn a new language, or transform your health. The distance between where you are and where you want to be can seem impossibly vast. This proverb teaches us that the secret to achieving anything significant is to stop being paralyzed by the magnitude of the journey and simply take the first step. That first step might be small, even tiny, but it's infinitely more powerful than standing still. When you take action, no matter how modest, you set forces in motion, you build momentum, you learn, you adapt. The person who writes one page today is closer to finishing a book than the person who dreams about writing but never puts pen to paper. This proverb is a call to action, a reminder that every expert was once a beginner, and every massive achievement started with someone deciding to start. Think about the great achievements in human history. The pyramids were built one stone at a time. The internet was created one line of code at a time. Your favorite novel was written one word at a time. Nothing substantial appears fully formed. Everything begins with that crucial first step, and then another, and another. The beauty of this proverb is that it removes the pressure of having to accomplish everything at once. You don't need to write the entire book today, just one page. You don't need to build the entire business, just register the name or create the first prototype. You don't need to run a marathon tomorrow, just put on your shoes and walk around the block. Each small step compounds, creating momentum that makes the next step easier, and the next one easier still. The next proverb we need to understand is, actions speak louder than words. We live in an age of constant communication, where people can broadcast their intentions, dreams, and values to the world with a single post. But this proverb reminds us of a timeless truth. What you do matters infinitely more than what you say. You can tell everyone you're honest, but if you lie when it's convenient, your actions reveal your true character. You can say you value health, but if you eat poorly and never exercise, your actions show what you truly prioritize. You can claim to care about your family, but if you never spend time with them, your actions tell the real story. This proverb is both a warning and a guide. It warns us that people will judge us by our actions, not our words, no matter how eloquent we might be. But it also guides us toward authenticity and integrity. When your actions align with your words, you build trust, respect, and a solid reputation. People learn they can rely on you. More importantly, you learn to rely on yourself. The gap between what we say and what we do is where self-respect either grows or dies. If you want to be a person of substance and character, focus on doing what you say you'll do, consistently and without fanfare. This is especially important in leadership positions. A leader who tells their team to work hard while they slack off loses credibility immediately. A parent who tells their children not to lie while being dishonest themselves teaches hypocrisy, not honesty. The most powerful form of communication is behavioral. Show people who you are through your consistent actions, and you'll never have to convince them with words. The early bird catches the worm is a proverb that speaks to the power of initiative and timing. In every area of life, those who act first often gain significant advantages. When you wake up early, you gain hours that most people waste sleeping past their alarm. You get to work on your goals when your mind is fresh and the world is quiet. But this proverb goes beyond just waking up early. It's about being proactive in every situation. When a new opportunity emerges, the person who moves quickly often secures it before others even realize it exists. In business, early adopters of new technologies or markets frequently dominate those spaces. In relationships, the person who reaches out first, who takes initiative in solving problems, who doesn't wait for perfect conditions, often builds stronger connections. This proverb teaches us that hesitation has a cost. While you're waiting for the perfect moment, someone else is taking action and reaping the rewards. The world favors those who move with purpose and speed. However, it's important to balance this with wisdom. Being early doesn't mean being reckless. It means being prepared, alert, and willing to act when opportunity knocks, rather than letting it pass while you deliberate endlessly. The early bird doesn't just wake up randomly early. It wakes up when worms are available and acts decisively to secure them. Similarly, you should be alert to opportunities in your field, ready to act when conditions are favorable, and decisive when the moment arrives. Now, let's consider, don't count your chickens before they hatch. This proverb is a masterclass in managing expectations and avoiding premature celebration. Human beings have a natural tendency to mentally spend money before they've earned it, to celebrate victories before they're secured, to assume outcomes before they're determined. This proverb warns against this dangerous habit. When you count on something that hasn't happened yet, you set yourself up for disappointment and poor decision-making. Imagine someone who receives a job offer and immediately quits their current job, goes on a spending spree, and makes major life changes, only to have the offer fall through. That's counting chickens before they hatch. This proverb teaches prudence and patience. It reminds us that many things can go wrong between promise and fulfillment. Stay grounded in reality, not fantasy. Make plans based on what is, not what might be. Celebrate when the victory is actually won, not when it merely seems likely. This doesn't mean being pessimistic or failing to visualize success. It means being realistic, protecting yourself from unnecessary risk, and maintaining focus until the goal is genuinely achieved. The time for celebration is after the chickens have hatched, not before. In investment, this means not spending projected returns until they're actually in your account. In relationships, it means not assuming commitment until it's actually been established. In career, it means not making major life changes based on possibilities until they become actualities. This proverb has saved countless people from financial ruin, relationship disappointment, and career disasters by encouraging patience and verification before action. A penny saved is a penny earned is Benjamin Franklin's brilliant insight into the nature of wealth and value. In our consumer culture, we're constantly bombarded with messages to spend, to upgrade, to indulge. This proverb offers a counterbalance. It teaches us that saving money is just as valuable as earning it. Think about it. If you earn an extra $100, you might pay taxes on it, reducing its actual value. But if you save $100 by not making an unnecessary purchase, you keep the full value. This proverb goes deeper than just financial advice. It's about recognizing value in restraint and wisdom in conservation. It applies to time, energy, and resources of all kinds. The hours you save by eliminating wasteful activities are hours you've effectively created for productive use. The energy you conserve by not engaging in draining relationships or activities is energy you can invest in what truly matters. In a world that glorifies acquisition and consumption, this proverb reminds us that there's power and wisdom in holding back, in being selective, in understanding that what you don't spend or waste is just as valuable as what you acquire. This is particularly relevant in an age of lifestyle inflation, where people constantly upgrade their living standards as their income increases, never actually building wealth because they spend everything they make. The person who lives below their means, who saves consistently, who distinguishes between wants and needs, builds financial security and freedom over time. Let's explore where there's smoke, there's fire. This proverb speaks to the nature of evidence and intuition. When you notice signs or symptoms of something, there's usually an underlying cause. If multiple people mention concerns about someone's behavior, there's probably something to those concerns. If you keep noticing red flags in a relationship or business deal, your instincts are probably picking up on real problems. This proverb teaches us to pay attention to patterns and warning signs rather than dismissing them. However, it also comes with an important caveat. Smoke doesn't always mean fire. Sometimes there's just smoke, created by misunderstanding, rumors, or misperception. The wisdom is in investigating further rather than making assumptions. When you see smoke, look for the fire, but don't assume you've found it until you have real evidence. This proverb is particularly relevant in the age of social media, where smoke can be manufactured easily and spread quickly. The key is to develop discernment, to recognize when warning signs deserve attention and investigation, while also avoiding the trap of believing every rumor or allegation without verification. In personal relationships, this means paying attention when you notice concerning patterns of behavior, but also being willing to have honest conversations and gather information rather than jumping to conclusions. In business, it means doing due diligence when you notice warning signs, investigating thoroughly before making decisions. Too many cooks spoil the broth addresses a common problem in collaborative efforts. When too many people try to control or influence a project, the result is often confusion, contradiction, and ultimately, failure. Each person has their own vision, preferences, and methods, and when everyone tries to implement their approach simultaneously, chaos ensues. This proverb teaches the importance of clear leadership and defined roles. In any collaborative effort, there needs to be a person or small group who has final decision-making authority. This doesn't mean ignoring input or feedback from others. It means having a clear process and, ultimately, someone who can make the final call when disagreements arise. We see this principle violated constantly in business, creative projects, and even personal relationships. Too many decision-makers lead to paralysis, compromise that pleases no one, and outcomes that lack coherence or vision. The solution isn't to exclude people or ignore valuable contributions. It's to have clear roles, clear authority, and clear processes. Know who's responsible for what, who makes final decisions in each area, and respect those boundaries. When everyone tries to steer the ship, it ends up going in circles or crashing into rocks. This is why successful companies have clear organizational structures, why effective teams have designated leaders, and why projects with clear ownership tend to succeed while those with diffuse responsibility tend to fail. The proverb isn't arguing against collaboration or input. It's arguing for clarity about who ultimately decides. The grass is always greener on the other side is a profound observation about human psychology and the nature of satisfaction. We have a tendency to imagine that other people's lives, jobs, relationships, or circumstances are better than our own. Social media has amplified this tendency to an extreme degree. We see carefully curated highlights of other people's lives and compare them to the full, messy reality of our own, leading to dissatisfaction and envy. This proverb teaches us that this perception is often an illusion, that grass that looks so green from a distance might be artificial turf, or it might be just as weedy and patchy as your own lawn when you get up close. Everyone faces challenges, struggles, and difficulties, even if they don't broadcast them. This proverb isn't telling us to be complacent or to never strive for improvement. It's teaching us to be grateful for what we have, to recognize the good in our current situation, and to make decisions based on our own values and needs, rather than on idealized perceptions of what others have. Before you abandon your current situation for something that looks better from afar, take a closer, more realistic look. Often, the best approach is to tend your own grass, to invest in improving what you have rather than constantly looking elsewhere. This applies to careers, where people often romanticize other professions while ignoring the downsides. It applies to relationships, where people imagine that other people's partners are better than their own. It applies to geography, where people think moving to a new city will solve their problems. The truth is that wherever you go, you take yourself with you, and the fundamental challenges of being human remain. Now consider, you can't have your cake and eat it too. This proverb addresses the reality of trade-offs and the impossibility of having everything simultaneously. Once you eat the cake, it's gone. You can't still have it sitting there looking beautiful. Life is full of similar choices. You can't spend money and save it. You can't devote yourself entirely to your career and also be fully present for your family. You can't stay in your comfort zone and also experience growth and adventure. This proverb teaches us to accept that choices have consequences and that we must prioritize. The paralysis many people experience in decision-making often comes from wanting to avoid loss or sacrifice. They want all the benefits with none of the costs. This proverb is a dose of reality. Meaningful choices require sacrifice. The key is to make conscious, intentional decisions about what matters most to you, accept the trade-offs, and commit to your choice without constantly second-guessing or trying to have it both ways. When you try to have your cake and eat it too, you often end up with neither, because your attention and energy are divided, your commitment is questionable, and you're constantly frustrated by the impossibility of your position. This is why people who try to maintain one foot in their old life while stepping into a new one often fail at both. Commitment requires sacrifice, and success requires accepting that you can't do everything or be everything. Choose what matters most and fully commit to it. Don't put all your eggs in one basket is essential wisdom about risk management and diversification. If you carry all your eggs in a single basket and you drop it or something damages it, you lose everything. But if you distribute your eggs across multiple baskets, a single mishap doesn't result in total loss. This applies to virtually every area of life. In finance, it means diversifying your investments so that you're not completely dependent on one stock, one asset class, or one source of income. In your career, it means developing multiple skills and connections so that you're not entirely dependent on one job or one relationship with a boss. In your personal life, it means having multiple sources of fulfillment and meaning, so that if one area struggles, your entire sense of well-being doesn't collapse. This proverb teaches prudence and preparation. It doesn't mean being scattered or uncommitted. It means being strategic about reducing vulnerability. The person with multiple income streams survives economic downturns better than the person with one job. The person with diverse friendships handles a falling out better than someone who puts all their social needs on one person. This is wisdom that protects you from catastrophic loss while still allowing you to invest and commit meaningfully. However, there's a balance here. You can over-diversify to the point where you're not making meaningful progress in any direction. The wisdom is in having enough eggs in enough baskets that you're protected from disaster, but not so many baskets that you can't carry them all effectively. Let's examine "A bird in the hand is worth two in the bush." This proverb teaches us about the value of certainty versus possibility. What you actually have right now is worth more than what you might potentially get in the future. This doesn't mean never taking risks or pursuing opportunities. It means being realistic about the value of what you already possess versus the uncertain promise of something better. Too often, people give up good situations chasing perfect ones, only to end up with nothing. Someone quits a decent job for a supposedly amazing opportunity that falls through. Someone ends a good relationship because they think they can find someone better, then struggles to find anyone comparable. This proverb counsels gratitude and caution. Appreciate what you have. Don't dismiss or undervalue it just because you can imagine something better. At the same time, assess opportunities realistically. Is the potential gain worth the certain loss? What are the actual probabilities, not just the best-case scenarios? Sometimes the answer is yes, the risk is worth it. But many times, when we honestly evaluate the situation, we realize that what we have in hand is actually quite valuable, and the birds in the bush are more likely to fly away than to land in our hands. This proverb is particularly relevant in investment and career decisions. The guaranteed decent return might be better than the possibility of a huge return that comes with substantial risk. The stable job you have might be better than the exciting startup opportunity with uncertain prospects. Practice makes perfect is one of the most motivating and practical proverbs we have. It tells us that excellence isn't innate or magical. It's the result of consistent, repeated effort. Whatever skill or ability you want to develop, the path to mastery is through practice. This seems obvious, yet it's revolutionary in its implications. It means that your current level of ability in any area is not your destiny. You're not stuck being bad at public speaking, poor at math, or awkward in social situations. Through deliberate, consistent practice, you can transform your abilities. Research and expertise has confirmed this. The primary difference between experts and amateurs in most fields is the amount of focused practice they've done, not innate talent. However, there's an important nuance here. Not all practice is equal. Mindless repetition doesn't lead to improvement. Deliberate practice does. This means practicing with focus, seeking feedback, working on your weaknesses, and pushing beyond your comfort zone. The proverb should perhaps be, "Perfect practice makes perfect," but the core message remains. Consistent effort over time leads to mastery. Whatever you want to be good at, commit to regular practice and watch yourself improve. This applies to physical skills like sports or musical instruments, intellectual skills like mathematics or writing, and social skills like communication or leadership. The person who practices public speaking for 15 minutes every day will become a compelling speaker. The person who writes every day will become a better writer. The person who practices patience and empathy in their relationships will become better at relationships. Honesty is the best policy is a proverb that seems simple but carries profound wisdom about how to build a successful life. In the short term, dishonesty can seem advantageous. A lie might get you out of trouble, help you avoid conflict, or even gain you some benefit. But this proverb teaches us to think long-term. Dishonesty has cumulative costs that eventually outweigh any short-term benefits. When you lie, you have to remember your lies and maintain them, which is mentally exhausting. You damage trust, which once broken is extremely difficult to repair. You create a reputation as someone unreliable, which closes doors and opportunities. You also damage your own self-respect and integrity. Conversely, honesty builds trust, simplifies your life, creates a strong reputation, and allows you to sleep peacefully at night. People might not always like what you tell them when you're honest, but they'll respect you for it, and they'll know they can rely on you. This proverb isn't just about avoiding lies. It's about embracing truth as a way of life, being authentic, keeping your word, and dealing with reality rather than trying to manipulate it through deception. Honesty includes being honest with yourself about your own motivations, mistakes, and limitations. It means admitting when you're wrong, acknowledging your role in problems, and facing uncomfortable truths rather than hiding from them. The person who lives honestly might face short-term discomfort, but builds long-term success, respect, and peace of mind. Look before you leap counsels caution and preparation before taking major actions. It's a counterbalance to impulsiveness. Yes, sometimes you need to take risks and act boldly, but those actions should be informed by careful consideration, not reckless abandon. Before you leap, look at where you're leaping to. What are the risks? What are you hoping to achieve? What could go wrong? Do you have a backup plan? This proverb has saved countless people from disasters born of enthusiasm without wisdom. It applies to major life decisions like marriage, career changes, major purchases, and business ventures. The person who looks before they leap researches before they buy, thinks before they speak, and plans before they act. This doesn't mean being paralyzed by overanalysis. It means being intentional and informed. Take the time to gather information, consider alternatives, and prepare adequately before making irreversible decisions. The few minutes or hours or days you spend looking before you leap can save you years of regret. Balance this wisdom with the need for action. Don't let looking become an excuse for never leaping. But when you do leap, do it with eyes wide open, aware of what you're getting into. This proverb is particularly important in the age of instant gratification, where we're encouraged to act quickly and spontaneously without careful thought. The person who consistently looks before they leap makes fewer catastrophic mistakes and builds a more stable, successful life. Two heads are better than one recognizes the power of collaboration and multiple perspectives. When you're trying to solve a problem or make a decision, involving another person often leads to better outcomes than working alone. They might see angles you missed, have experiences you lack, or catch errors you overlooked. This proverb celebrates the value of teamwork, partnership, and seeking input from others. It's a reminder against excessive independence or pride that prevents us from asking for help or considering other viewpoints. However, quality matters here. Two heads are better than one when both are engaged, informed, and constructive. If the second person is disengaged, uninformed, or destructive, they might actually make things worse. The wisdom is in choosing your collaborators and advisors well, creating an environment where genuine collaboration can happen, and being open to input even when it challenges your initial thoughts. This proverb also teaches humility. the recognition that you don't have all the answers, that others have valuable contributions to make, and that the best solutions often emerge from combining different perspectives and expertise. In business, this is why diverse teams often outperform homogeneous ones. In personal life, this is why having trusted advisors and friends to consult makes you more effective. The key is balancing the benefits of collaboration with the need for clear decision-making authority that we discussed earlier. Time heals all wounds is a proverb that offers comfort during difficult times. Whether you're dealing with grief, heartbreak, betrayal, or any other painful experience, this proverb reminds us that the intensity of pain diminishes with time. The loss that feels unbearable today will hurt less in 6 months, and even less in a year or two. This is both psychologically true and practically important to remember when you're in pain. However, this proverb requires an important qualification. Time alone doesn't heal wounds. Time combined with processing, growth, and sometimes professional help heals wounds. If you simply wait and do nothing, some wounds can actually fester and become worse. Time provides distance and perspective, but you also need to do the work of grieving, learning, and moving forward. The person who loses a loved one and gives themselves permission to grieve, seeks support, and gradually rebuilds their life will heal. The person who suppresses their grief and tries to pretend nothing happened may still be suffering decades later. So, yes, time heals, but active, intentional healing supported by time works even better. Trust that what feels overwhelming now will become manageable, and do the work necessary to help that healing process along. This proverb offers hope during dark times. Things will get better, the pain will lessen, and life will feel bearable again. Hold on to that hope while doing the work of healing. You reap what you sow is one of the most powerful proverbs about cause and effect, consequences, and personal responsibility. It comes from agriculture. If you plant corn seeds, you get corn. If you plant weeds, you get weeds. You can't plant laziness and harvest success. You can't plant dishonesty and harvest trust. You can't plant cruelty and harvest love. This proverb teaches us that our actions have consequences, and we cannot escape them. The habits you build today determine the life you'll live tomorrow. The relationships you invest in grow stronger. The ones you neglect wither. The skills you practice improve. The ones you ignore atrophy. This is simultaneously sobering and empowering. It's sobering because it means you can't blame others for outcomes you've created through your own choices and actions. But it's empowering because it means you have control. By changing what you sow, you can change what you reap. If you don't like the results you're getting in any area of life, look at what you're doing and change it. Start sowing different seeds. The harvest might not come immediately, but it will come. This proverb is a call to intentionality. Decide what you want to reap and sow accordingly. If you want strong relationships, sow time, attention, and care. If you want career success, sow hard work, skill development, and networking. If you want good health, sow exercise, nutrition, and rest. The harvest is always related to the seeds you plant. Better late than never is an encouraging proverb that combats perfectionism and regret. Yes, it would have been better to start earlier, to act sooner, to make the right choice the first time. But if you didn't, that doesn't mean all is lost. Starting now is infinitely better than never starting at all. This proverb gives permission to begin even when you feel behind, to make amends even when you've delayed too long, to pursue dreams even when you think you're too old. The person who starts saving for retirement at 45 is better off than the person who never saves. The person who apologizes after a long delay is better than the person who never apologizes. The person who begins exercising at 50 is better off than someone who never exercises. This proverb also teaches us not to let shame or embarrassment about being late prevent us from acting. Many people don't start something because they feel foolish about not having started sooner. That's a trap. Acknowledge that yes, earlier would have been better, but now is still valuable. Take action now, and you'll be glad you did. The only truly wasted time is time spent wishing you'd started sooner rather than actually starting. This proverb is particularly relevant for people who feel they've made mistakes or wasted opportunities. It's never too late to change course, learn new skills, repair relationships, or pursue dreams. Absence makes the heart grow fonder, speaks to the paradoxical way that distance and separation can actually strengthen appreciation and affection. When you're constantly around someone or something, you can start taking it for granted, noticing flaws, feeling bored or irritated. But when you're separated, you remember the good qualities. You miss the positive experiences. You gain perspective on what that person or situation brings to your life. This is why reunions after time apart are often so sweet. Why people on vacation often feel renewed appreciation for their home. Why time away from work can make you return with renewed enthusiasm. However, this proverb has limits. It works when the relationship is fundamentally good. If a relationship is toxic or dysfunctional, absence might just reveal how much better life is without it. And if absence is too prolonged or too frequent, it can lead to growing apart rather than growing fonder. The wisdom here is that some distance and separation, in moderation, can be healthy for relationships and for our appreciation of the good things in our lives. Don't take people for granted. Remember what you value about them, and sometimes a bit of space can help you see that more clearly. This applies to work as well. Taking breaks and vacations isn't just rest. It's perspective that helps you appreciate your work and return with renewed energy. Now, let's consider, don't cry over spilled milk. This proverb teaches us about accepting what we cannot change and moving forward rather than dwelling on misfortune or mistakes. When milk spills, crying doesn't put it back in the glass. Your tears and regret don't undo what happened. The only productive response is to clean up the mess and move on. This applies to all sorts of situations. The mistake you made at work, the opportunity you missed, the relationship that ended, the money you lost. Yes, you can and should learn from these experiences, but you shouldn't waste time and energy in prolonged regret or self-recrimination. What's done is done. The question is, what will you do now? This proverb teaches resilience and forward thinking. Successful people aren't people who never make mistakes or experience setbacks. They are people who don't let those mistakes and setbacks consume them. They acknowledge what happened, extract the lesson, make amends if possible, and then redirect their energy toward the future. The ability to accept unfortunate realities and move on quickly is a crucial life skill that separates those who thrive from those who remain stuck in cycles of regret and blame. This doesn't mean being callous or failing to take responsibility. It means distinguishing between productive reflection and unproductive rumination. Learn from your mistakes, but don't live in them. Strike while the iron is hot is advice about timing and seizing opportunities when conditions are favorable. When a blacksmith heats iron, there's a window when it's malleable and can be shaped. Wait too long and it cools, becoming rigid and difficult to work with. Similarly, in life, opportunities have optimal windows. When someone is enthusiastic about an idea, that's the time to move forward, not 6 months later when their interest has cooled. When you have momentum on a project, push forward rather than letting it stall. When a market opportunity emerges, act quickly before competition increases or conditions change. This proverb teaches us to recognize and act on favorable conditions rather than assuming they'll always be there. However, there's a balance here. You should strike while the iron is hot, but make sure you've properly heated the iron first. Don't confuse this with impulsiveness or poor preparation. The blacksmith doesn't randomly hit cold iron. He carefully heats it to the right temperature, then strikes decisively. Similarly, you should prepare and plan, but when conditions become favorable, act with conviction and speed rather than hesitating until the opportunity passes. This proverb is particularly relevant in business and investing, where timing can be the difference between success and failure. A stitch in time saves 9 teaches the value of addressing problems early when they're small and manageable, rather than waiting until they become large and costly. If you notice a small tear in clothing and sew it up immediately with 1 stitch, you prevent it from becoming a large tear that requires 9 stitches to repair. This principle applies universally. The strange noise in your car that you address immediately might just need a simple fix, whereas ignoring it could lead to engine failure. The small conflict in a relationship that you address through honest conversation stays small, whereas ignoring it can lead to built-up resentment and major problems. The slight decline in your health that you address with lifestyle changes can be reversed, whereas ignoring it can lead to serious disease. This proverb is about being proactive and attentive. It means not procrastinating when you notice something wrong. It means not engaging in wishful thinking that small problems will resolve themselves. Usually, they don't. They grow. The person who addresses problems early saves themselves enormous time, money, stress, and difficulty, compared to the person who ignores warning signs until they become crises. This applies to everything from home maintenance to health, to relationships to finances. Small problems are opportunities for easy solutions. Ignored, they become big problems that require difficult solutions. Let's explore "The pen is mightier than the sword." This profound proverb teaches that words, ideas, and communication have more lasting power than force or violence. You can conquer with a sword, but that conquest must be maintained through continued force, creating resentment and resistance. But when you persuade with words, when you spread ideas that take root in people's minds, you create change that sustains itself. The greatest revolutions in human history have been driven more by ideas and communication than by mere military might. Religious texts, philosophical works, political manifestos, and passionate speeches have shaped civilization more profoundly than any weapon. This proverb reminds us of the responsibility that comes with communication. If words are more powerful than weapons, we should use them carefully, thoughtfully, and for good purposes. It also empowers us. Even if you lack physical power or resources, you have the ability to influence, persuade, and create change through effective communication. In the modern world, this is truer than ever. A well-written article, video, or post can reach millions and shape opinions and behaviors. Words build and destroy reputations, start and end wars, create and crush spirits. Use your pen wisely. It's more powerful than you might think. This proverb also teaches that intellectual and moral strength ultimately triumph over brute force. Don't judge a book by its cover. Warns against forming conclusions based on superficial appearances. The cover of a book can be beautiful or plain, but what really matters is the content inside. Similarly, people, situations, and opportunities shouldn't be judged solely on how they first appear. The person who doesn't look impressive might have extraordinary wisdom, kindness, or ability. The opportunity that seems small might lead to something great. The experience that seems unpleasant might teach you something valuable. This proverb teaches us to look deeper. to give things and people a fair chance before making judgments. We naturally make snap judgments based on appearance. It's how our brains process the world efficiently. But this proverb reminds us to question those initial judgments and seek more information. At the same time, the proverb acknowledges that covers matter to some degree. People and organizations do put effort into their presentation, and that presentation communicates something about what's inside. The wisdom is in finding the balance. Don't be completely superficial, but also don't ignore surface information entirely. Look at the cover, but also open the book and read a few pages before deciding whether it's worth your time. This applies to job candidates, romantic prospects, business opportunities, and countless other situations where first impressions can be misleading. When in Rome, do as the Romans do, is advice about cultural sensitivity and adaptation. When you're in someone else's environment, following their customs and norms shows respect and makes your experience more positive. If you're visiting a country where people remove shoes before entering homes, do the same. If you're joining a company with a particular culture, adapt to it rather than immediately trying to change it. This proverb teaches flexibility and humility. It recognizes that different contexts have different norms, and insisting on your own way regardless of where you are is both disrespectful and counterproductive. However, this proverb has boundaries. It doesn't mean abandoning your core values or engaging in harmful behaviors just because they're local norms. The wisdom is in distinguishing between meaningful moral principles and arbitrary cultural preferences. Be willing to adapt on the preferences and customs, but hold firm on the principles. When you're in Rome, eat like Romans, dress like Romans, and observe Roman customs. But you don't have to compromise your fundamental ethics. The person who can adapt appropriately while maintaining their integrity navigates diverse environments successfully. This is particularly important in our globalized world, where we frequently interact with people from different cultures and backgrounds. No pain, no gain is perhaps most associated with fitness and exercise, but its wisdom extends to every area of growth and achievement. Anything worthwhile requires effort, discomfort, and sacrifice. If you want to build muscle, you have to push your muscles beyond their comfort zone, which involves physical discomfort. If you want to build wealth, you have to make sacrifices in the present, delaying gratification for future benefit. If you want to develop skills, you have to endure the awkward, frustrating period of being bad at something before you become good. This proverb is a reality check against the modern desire for easy, quick results. It tells us that growth is inherently uncomfortable, and if we're not willing to embrace that discomfort, we won't achieve meaningful results. However, it's important to distinguish between productive pain and destructive pain. Exercise should be challenging, but not injurious. Growth should be uncomfortable, but not traumatic. The pain should be purposeful and temporary, leading to gain. The wisdom is in embracing necessary discomfort while avoiding needless suffering. Don't expect achievement without effort, but also be smart about how you apply that effort. This proverb applies to emotional and psychological growth as well. Facing difficult truths about yourself is painful, but it's necessary for growth. Having difficult conversations is uncomfortable, but it's necessary for healthy relationships. Let's examine blood is thicker than water. This proverb is often used to suggest that family bonds are the strongest and most important relationships, stronger than friendships or other connections. The idea is that you should prioritize family above all else, because those biological connections create loyalties that transcend other relationships. However, there's an interesting historical twist here. The original, fuller version of this proverb may have been, "The blood of the covenant is thicker than the water of the womb." which means exactly the opposite. The bonds you choose are stronger than the bonds you're born with. Regardless of which interpretation you follow, the deeper wisdom is about understanding the nature of loyalty and relationship. Some families are supportive, loving, and worthy of deep loyalty. Others are toxic, abusive, and damaging. The proverb, in either form, reminds us that relationships matter and that we should be thoughtful about where we place our deepest loyalties. Whether you interpret it as celebrating family or celebrating chosen bonds, the core message is that deep relationships are precious and should be honored and protected. The key is recognizing which relationships actually deserve that level of loyalty based on how people treat you, not just on biological connection. Beggars can't be choosers teaches humility and gratitude when you're in a position of need or dependence. When you're asking for help, receiving charity, or otherwise dependent on others' generosity, you don't have the standing to be picky or demanding about how that help is provided. If someone offers you a ride when you're stranded, you don't complain about their music choice. If someone gives you food when you're hungry, you don't critique the presentation. This proverb is about recognizing power dynamics and responding appropriately with gratitude rather than entitlement. However, this doesn't mean people in need should accept abusive treatment, or that having needs eliminates all agency. It's about the attitude you bring to receiving help. Be grateful for what you receive, even if it's not exactly what you would have preferred. At the same time, when you're the one in a position to help, don't weaponize this proverb to justify treating people in need poorly. The person who helps generously and respectfully, and the person who receives help with gratitude and grace, both demonstrate character and wisdom. This proverb is a reminder against entitlement and for gratitude, while not being a justification for mistreating vulnerable people. The squeaky wheel gets the grease is a proverb about advocacy and persistence. In a world with limited attention and resources, those who speak up, advocate for themselves, and persist in making their needs known are more likely to have those needs met than those who suffer in silence. If a wheel on a cart is squeaking, the owner notices and oils it. The quiet wheels, even if they're also in need of maintenance, get overlooked. This proverb encourages us to speak up, to ask for what we need, to not assume that others will notice our problems or needs without us bringing them to their attention. Many people struggle with this, either because they think they shouldn't have to ask or because they don't want to be seen as annoying or demanding. But the reality is that in busy, complex environments, the person who doesn't advocate for themselves often gets overlooked, not out of malice, but simply because attention is scarce. However, there's a balance. Being the squeaky wheel works best when you do it strategically and reasonably. If you constantly complain about everything, people start tuning you out. If you never speak up, you get overlooked. The wisdom is in identifying what truly matters and advocating effectively for those things. Choose your battles, communicate clearly and respectfully, and persist when something is genuinely important. A watched pot never boils addresses our relationship with time and impatience. When you're waiting for something, constantly checking on it makes the wait feel longer. When you're anxiously watching for an email, refreshing every few seconds, time seems to crawl. When you're trying to fall asleep but keep checking the clock, you become more wakeful. This proverb teaches us that sometimes the best approach is to occupy yourself with other things and let time pass naturally rather than obsessing over what you're waiting for. This doesn't mean being passive or neglecting things that need attention. It means distinguishing between situations where your attention helps and situations where it just makes you miserable without changing the outcome. You can't make water boil faster by watching it. You can't make time pass quicker by obsessing over it. The wisdom is in finding the balance. Attend to what needs attention, but don't torment yourself by fixating on things that simply need time to develop. This is particularly relevant in the age of instant gratification, where we expect immediate results and become anxious when they don't materialize. Learning to wait patiently while staying productively occupied is a valuable skill. Curiosity killed the cat warns against being too nosy, too inquisitive, or too willing to poke into matters that don't concern you. Sometimes, pursuing knowledge or involvement in situations can lead to trouble. The cat that investigates every new thing might encounter danger. The person who can't resist getting involved in drama might get hurt. The employee who snoops into confidential matters might face consequences. This proverb counsels a degree of restraint and respect for boundaries. However, there's another saying that serves as a response. But satisfaction brought it back. This reminds us that curiosity, while it can sometimes lead to trouble, is also essential for learning, growth, and discovery. Every innovation, scientific advance, and creative breakthrough came from someone being curious and investigating something new. The wisdom is in developing judgment about when to pursue curiosity and when to respect boundaries. Be curious about ideas, learning, and understanding. Be less curious about other people's private business or situations where your involvement isn't wanted or needed. The key is distinguishing between healthy curiosity that leads to growth and intrusive nosiness that creates problems. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. Addresses the limits of influence and the importance of personal agency. You can provide opportunities, resources, information, and support, but you can't force someone to take advantage of them. If someone doesn't want to change, learn, or help themselves, there's ultimately nothing you can do to force them. This proverb is both frustrating and liberating. It's frustrating because it means you can't save people who don't want to be saved. You can't make your children value education if they don't want to learn. You can't make your friend leave a bad relationship if they're not ready. But it's liberating because it means you're not responsible for other people's choices. You can offer what you can offer, but their response is their responsibility, not yours. This proverb teaches us to focus on what we can control, making resources and opportunities available, while accepting that we can't control others' choices. It's a lesson in boundaries, in knowing when to keep trying and when to step back and let people live with the consequences of their own decisions. This is particularly important for parents, teachers, managers, and anyone in a position where they're trying to help or influence others. There's no such thing as a free lunch teaches that everything has a cost, even if it's not immediately obvious. That free seminar is designed to sell you something. That free product comes with hidden fees or requires you to provide valuable data. That favor someone does for you creates an unspoken obligation. This proverb makes us aware that resources are always finite, and that what appears to be free usually isn't when you look closer. Someone is paying somehow. This doesn't mean being cynical or paranoid, but rather being realistic and informed. Understand what you're getting into. Read the fine print. Recognize that when something seems too good to be true, it usually is. At the same time, this proverb reminds us to be fair in our own dealings. Don't expect others to provide services or resources for free. Pay fair prices, honor obligations, and recognize that everyone's time and resources have value. The person who understands that there's no free lunch makes better decisions, maintains better relationships, and approaches opportunities with appropriate caution and wisdom. This is particularly relevant in the digital age where many services appear free, but actually extract value through data collection, attention harvesting, or other means. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger, speaks to resilience and growth through adversity. The challenges, setbacks, and hardships you face, if they don't destroy you, actually build your capacity to handle future difficulties. Each time you overcome something hard, you prove to yourself that you can overcome hard things. You develop skills, perspective, and strength that you didn't have before. Athletes deliberately stress their bodies to build strength. This proverb says that life works similarly. Stress, handled appropriately, builds psychological and emotional strength. However, this proverb requires important caveats. Trauma can actually weaken people, not strengthen them, if it's too severe, or if they don't have support and resources to process it. Not every hardship makes you stronger. Some just hurt you. The wisdom is in recognizing that moderate challenges that you successfully overcome do build resilience, while overwhelming trauma needs care and healing. Don't glorify suffering, or think that all pain is automatically beneficial. But also, don't avoid all discomfort. Embrace appropriate challenges, learn from difficulties, and recognize that the hard times you've survived have contributed to who you are today. The key is having the support, resources, and mindset to process challenges in ways that lead to growth rather than just damage. Fortune favors the bold, teaches that those who take calculated risks and act with courage often achieve more than those who play it safe. This doesn't mean being reckless or foolhardy. It means being willing to step outside your comfort zone, to try new things, to take chances when the potential reward justifies the risk. History is full of examples of bold actions leading to great success. The entrepreneur who starts a business takes a risk but creates opportunity. The person who asks someone out risks rejection, but opens the possibility of love. The artist who shares their work risks criticism, but creates the chance for recognition. This proverb reminds us that safety has costs too. The person who never takes risks never fails, but they also never achieve anything remarkable. They live a small, constrained life bounded by fear. Boldness doesn't guarantee success, but it creates possibilities that caution never can. The wisdom is in distinguishing between bold and reckless. Bold means taking calculated risks when the potential reward is worth it. Reckless means taking unnecessary risks for no good reason. Be bold when it matters, when you've considered the risks and decided the opportunity is worth it. Don't let fear of failure prevent you from taking chances that could transform your life. Empty vessels make the most noise is an observation about the relationship between competence and boastfulness. Those who know the least or have accomplished the least often talk the most about their knowledge or achievements. Those who are truly competent and accomplished often let their work speak for itself. This proverb teaches us to be skeptical of those who boast loudly about their abilities, and to recognize that quiet confidence often indicates genuine competence. It also advises us to focus on developing real skills and achievements, rather than just talking about them. If you want to be respected and successful, do good work and let others notice. Don't spend all your energy promoting yourself while doing nothing worth promoting. At the same time, this proverb shouldn't be used as an excuse for never advocating for yourself or sharing your accomplishments. There's a difference between sharing your genuine achievements appropriately and empty boasting. The key is substance. Build real competence, achieve real results, and then share them appropriately when it makes sense to do so. Make hay while the sun shines is similar to strike while the iron is hot, but emphasizes taking advantage of favorable conditions while they last. Farmers need to harvest hay when the weather is dry, because rain will ruin it. Similarly, in life, there are windows of opportunity when conditions are favorable, and we should work hard during those times because they won't last forever. This might mean working extra hours when you have energy and opportunity, even if it's uncomfortable, because you might not always have that option. It might mean saving money when you're earning well because employment isn't guaranteed. It might mean investing in your relationships when things are good because difficult times will test them. This proverb teaches us not to waste favorable conditions through complacency or laziness. When things are going well, that's the time to work hard and prepare for when things inevitably become more difficult. Don't assume good times will last forever. Use them wisely to build a foundation for the future. The devil is in the details reminds us that small things matter, often more than we realize. A plan might seem perfect at the big picture level, but fail because of small details that weren't properly considered. A product might be excellent in concept, but frustrating to use because of minor design flaws. A relationship might seem great overall, but suffer because of small habits or behaviors that weren't addressed. This proverb teaches us to pay attention to the small stuff, to be thorough, to not assume that details will work themselves out. Success often comes down to execution, and execution is all about getting the details right. At the same time, this proverb shouldn't become an excuse for perfectionism that prevents you from ever finishing or launching anything. The wisdom is in recognizing which details actually matter and deserve attention, versus which ones are truly minor and can be left imperfect. Focus on the details that significantly impact the outcome, and don't let pursuit of perfection in minor details prevent you from moving forward. A chain is only as strong as its weakest link. Teaches that a system or process is only as effective as its least effective component. You can have brilliant people, excellent processes, and great resources in most areas, but if you have one weak point, that's where the system will fail. This proverb encourages us to identify and strengthen weak points rather than just celebrating strengths. In a team, this might mean providing extra training or support to the team member who's struggling. In personal development, this might mean working on your weakest skills rather than just further developing areas where you're already strong. In security, this means protecting your weakest vulnerability, not just fortifying your strongest defenses. The wisdom here is in honest assessment. Identify where your actual weakest links are, not where you wish them were, or where they're comfortable to acknowledge. Then allocate resources to strengthen those weak points, because that's where you're most vulnerable to failure. Don't bite the hand that feeds you, warns against being ungrateful or hostile toward those who help or support you. If someone is providing for you, supporting you, or giving you opportunities, acting against their interests or treating them poorly is both ungrateful and strategically foolish. This proverb teaches basic gratitude and recognition of dependence. It doesn't mean you should never disagree with or challenge those who help you, but it means you should do so respectfully and with recognition of what they provide. The wisdom is in understanding power dynamics and dependencies realistically. If you're truly dependent on someone, antagonizing them is self-destructive. At the same time, this proverb shouldn't be used to justify abuse or to keep people in exploitative relationships. There's a difference between appropriate gratitude toward genuine benefactors and being trapped by those who weaponize their support. The key is distinguishing between relationships where support is genuine and healthy, versus relationships where support is actually a tool of control. Still, waters run deep reminds us that people who are quiet or reserved often have profound thoughts, feelings, or abilities that aren't immediately apparent. Don't mistake quietness for emptiness, or assume that the loud, outgoing person is always the most interesting or capable. This proverb teaches us to look beyond surface presentations and recognize that depth isn't always obvious. The person who speaks little might be observing carefully, thinking deeply, and feeling intensely. This proverb also validates introverts and reminds extroverts that different personality styles have different strengths. The wisdom is in not making assumptions based on communication style alone. Give quiet people a chance. Create space for them to contribute in ways that work for them. And if you're a quiet person yourself, recognize that your depth is valuable, even if it's not always visible to everyone. These 40 proverbs represent thousands of years of human wisdom, distilled into memorable phrases that can guide us through life's complexities. The key to benefiting from this wisdom is not just knowing these proverbs, but actively applying them. When you're facing a decision, remember to look before you leap. When you're tempted to give up, remember that practice makes perfect, and what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. When you're frustrated that things take time, remember that a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. When you're building relationships or your reputation, remember that actions speak louder than words, and honesty is the best policy. When you're managing resources, remember that a penny saved is a penny earned, and don't put all your eggs in one basket. When you're dealing with setbacks, remember not to cry over spilled milk, and that better late than never. When you're evaluating opportunities, remember that a bird in the hand is worth 2 in the bush, and there's no such thing as a free lunch. When you're working with others, remember that 2 heads are better than 1, but too many cooks spoil the broth. When you're facing challenges, remember that no pain, no gain, and fortune favors the bold. When you're waiting for results, remember that a watched pot never boils, and time heals all wounds. These aren't just quaint old sayings. They're concentrated wisdom that can genuinely improve your life if you take them seriously. The people who succeed, who build meaningful lives, who navigate challenges effectively, are often people who've internalized these kinds of principles and live by them. You don't need to follow every proverb perfectly, but having these frameworks in your mind helps you make better decisions, avoid common pitfalls, and build a life of wisdom and integrity. Take what resonates with you from what we've discussed today and start applying it. Notice when situations arise where these proverbs are relevant. Share this wisdom with others who might benefit. And most importantly, live by these principles, not just thinking about them, but actually using them to guide your choices and actions. That's when Proverbs move from being interesting ideas to being genuine life changers. Wisdom is only valuable when it's applied, when it changes how you think and act in real situations. These proverbs have survived for centuries because they work. They've guided countless people to better lives, and they can do the same for you. Thank you so much for watching this complete guide to powerful proverbs. If you found value in this content, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more wisdom that can transform your life. Share this video with someone who could benefit from these timeless lessons. What's your favorite proverb, and how has it impacted your life? Leave a comment below and let's continue this conversation. Remember, wisdom is worthless if you don't apply it. So take these lessons and put them into practice starting today. I'll see you in the next video where we'll explore more timeless wisdom to help you live your best life.